Hey everybody, I'm Logan Alec. I am the daddy in the Alec family vlog. This video is going to be all about 16-month milestones. The purpose of this video is just to document where our son Hunter is right now in his development at 16 months, especially compared to what experts say children his age should be doing, and also to give us ideas on maybe things we should start working with Hunter on or experiences we should think about giving him right now. So I'm looking at thebump.com at this article about 16-month-old milestones. First one it brings up is walking. It says most 16-month-olds are walking. Yes, Hunter's been walking for a while now. He wasn't necessarily a super early walker, but he did take his first steps at 11 months and was pretty good with walking shortly after he turned 1. Now, if you've seen our vlogs, you know he's running all over the place. He loves running, not really jumping, but he pushes his cars while he runs and he climbs, climbing all over furniture now, climbing on coffee tables. He loves dancing and spinning. Very active little guy, which is very typical at this age, just so much energy. The bump also says in terms of speech, about half of toddlers at this age are saying at least 3 words. I don't know how many words Hunter says. Obviously, dada, mama, car. He probably says car more than dada and mama combined, and that's not an exaggeration. Cars.
Car. Car. Yeah, lots of cars. Car.
Cars.
Car. Yes, a car. That's right, Hunter. It's a race car.
Car book. We're reading the car book.
Car.
Right now, he thinks anything with wheels is a car, and we're trying to teach him that, oh, Hunter, that's a truck, right? Or that's a trash can. There's big trash cans we have outside that have wheels on them.
Car.
Those are trash cans. They are not cars. He thinks because they have wheels, they're cars. He also says the word all done. It's more like alda with him. Lights, that was one of his words. He loves lights. It's so funny. He learned the word light like months ago, shortly after he turned 1, just with me saying it once. He was pointing to the lights in the room where he sleeps. And I said, oh, Hunter, you know, those are lights. And he said like las or something like that, la, la, la. His pronunciation's better now. But it's so funny that other things like truck, which we've been trying to teach him for months, or, you know, trash can, he insists on calling both of those things cars. It's funny how he'll pick on some words so quickly, but others we've been trying to reinforce it for months, and he's just not picking up on it. It's around Halloween time right now, and he recently taught him that ghosts say boo. He just says buh, buh, buh. I think he kind of gets it though. We asked, what does the ghost say? And he says buh, buh, buh. What do the ghosts say?
Buh.
Buh? What do the ghosts say?
Buh.
Yeah, they say boo. Boo. He also says cheese, one of his favorite things in the world, both when he actually wants cheese to eat, as well as cheese as in say cheese for a picture. So that's been fun to hear him say cheese. You got cheese? Cheese? Cheese. Is it yummy? Yummy cheese. He's got a handful of words, probably more than I'm recalling right now. The bump article says some especially chatty tots are uttering 15 words or more. I don't think he's uttering 15 words or more. He definitely understands a lot of words, but I'm not sure he actually says 15 words or more with intent on a regular basis, unless maybe if you include animal sounds. But we're not concerned. You know, the article says most tots have maybe 3 words at this point, and he definitely has at least 3 words at this point that he says with intent. In terms of signs, as in sign language, I kind of wish we had been a bit more intentional with Hunter about signing earlier on. We kind of did off and on, but I don't think we really enforced as much as we should. I mean, I didn't even know the signs for like more, thank you, I still don't know thank you, sorry, I just learned sorry until like last month. But now Hunter is consistently signing. We've been, you know, being better about consistent with it. You know, he says, you know, please or whatever when he's hungry. He says sorry a lot now. Sometimes he'll just hit Caroline or me. Sometimes I think it's just excitement. Sometimes I think he's mad about something we said, and we tell him, hey, you got to say sorry afterwards. He'll sign sorry. We're kind of afraid, though, it's just becoming a routine. Another thing he's been doing more is waving bye to objects. He's been waving bye to people for some time now, but now, like before we put him to sleep, he'll wave bye to all the objects in the room, from the paintings on the wall to the fake tree to the mirror. Basically any object in the room, he's going to wave bye to it. So that's new. He's also doing more blow kisses, sometimes instead of bye. He's bringing back this I love you sign that Hunter taught him, which is just hands on the head. I'm not sure if that's official or something just Caroline taught him. He did that a lot a few months ago. He's brought that sign back. The bump article doesn't bring this up, but like I said earlier, kids obviously understand so many more words than they produce, toddlers, right? And in terms of understanding, I think like most kids right now, Hunter knows the body parts we've taught him, especially those on the face, in both Korean and English. Maybe we should teach him more like, you know, other body parts. Hunter now knows that people other than Hunter, mommy, and daddy have names. He can't say them, but when we ask him, you know, where's Harabaji? Harabaji, that's like Korean for Caroline's dad. When I say, where's grandma? He knows that's my mom. Even the names of some of his cousins that he doesn't see very often. We'll ask, where's such and such? He'll be able to point them out. Can't really say those words or those names yet, but we're proud of him that he's able to at least associate the names with the individuals pretty well at this point. In terms of teething, the bump article says as early as 16 months, baby's cuspids or canines, the third bottom tooth from the front, may begin to erupt. Hunter was an early teether. I think right now he has 16 teeth, so I think he's on track there. Potty training, we haven't really encouraged potty training. Maybe we should. I don't know. But, he doesn't really see us necessarily on the potty all that much because, our schedules are so flexible. Oftentimes when one of us is in the restroom, Caroline or myself, the other parent is there to play with Hunter and keep him occupied outside the restroom. Because it's COVID right now, it's not like we're taking him out, very often to use public restrooms. So I'm not sure that he's been exposed to the potty very much. He doesn't really have that curiosity yet, but maybe reading this article, that's something to encourage. The bump does say one medical study suggests beginning between 27 months and 30 months. That's obviously a long ways off from now. Speaking of potty, Hunter is into helping us right now with diaper time. We have a bunch of diaper stuff that we use when we change his diaper. The diaper, the wipes, the rash cream, the other rash cream. And he'll grab the rash cream and try to apply it down there on his bum. He's really trying to be helpful with diaper time lately. We do put rash cream on at every diaper change. He's rarely had diaper rash, but we always just put it on every diaper change, just more as a preventative measure. He's also been kind of pulling at his diaper sometimes, especially if it's full. And other times, I think it's just because he wants to take it off and be natural. The bump article says your 16-month-old may be exhibiting some challenging and boundary pushing behaviors. Yes, I totally feel this. Hunter, I think, knows now that he can be defiant and he can disobey us, and he does so willfully sometimes. For example, sometimes when his bath time is over, he loves bath time. Sometimes when bath time is over, it used to be we would tell him, okay, Hunter, bath time is all done. He would say his little all done, meaning all done, and he'd be cool with us, picking him up and drying him off with a towel. Now, oftentimes when bath time is done, and we tell him it's all done, sometimes he will put his head down on the floor of the bathtub, which is drained by then. We don't know if he's trying to hide from us or what, but he's obviously asserting his own will that bath time is not over yet. And, he's been doing this in other ways as well. For example, another thing he's been doing recently is sometimes when we go in the car, obviously we have to put Hunter in the car seat, and sometimes he's just very defiant with that. He wants to go sit in the front seat of the car and pretend to drive the steering wheel, and sometimes we have to be very stern with him and tell him, no, Hunter, we have to go now. Mommy and Daddy are going to drive the car. You have to go in the car seat now. And sometimes he does not want to do that. He wants to go in the front seat, and he cries, and he tries to fight with us, about the car seat. So yes, Hunter is definitely exhibiting some challenging and boundary-pushing behaviors from time to time. Overall, though, he's been pretty good. He doesn't really throw tantrums except in these isolated incidents, but he is exhibiting some rebellion in some areas. In terms of separation anxiety, Hunter doesn't go to daycare at all. We're both home all day with him, so we don't have some of those challenges I think other parents of toddlers have with that. That said, sometimes if mommy leaves the room because she has to do something and it's just Hunter and me, sometimes he will cry or freak out about that. But on the other hand, recently there have been several instances where Caroline, my wife, has had to go do something during the day, and Hunter is alone with me, and he's very accepting of that it's time for us to say bye-bye to mommy. He'll wave bye-bye to mommy, maybe blow her a kiss. I'll take him to the park or the mall for a couple hours, and he's totally fine. So I think he does have kind of some low-level separation anxiety with Caroline, once in a while, but just because of our circumstances, he gets so much of us, both of us, during the day, so it's not as challenging as I think it could be in other circumstances. The bump article brings up timeouts. This isn't something we've actually done with Hunter, so I can't really speak to this. If you have a 16-month, 17-month, year-and-a-half old toddler, I'd love to know your experiences with timeouts at this age, because frankly, I don't think timeouts have crossed our mind until I read this article, but I'd love to know if you use them and how that's going for you, because maybe during these times that Hunter is defiant and not obeying us, maybe that's a form of discipline we could consider implementing. The bump article also mentions weird behavior. Probably the strangest thing Hunter does right now is sometimes he'll just spin and spin and spin around intentionally, I think, to get himself dizzy. I think he likes the feeling of being dizzy. And obviously as a parent, that kind of scares me because he can fall and hit his head, potentially hard on our tile or on the coffee table. And because he's dizzy, I'm not sure he'll have the normal natural instinct to put his hands down to catch himself. So that's probably the weirdest behavior that I've seen in Hunter right now at 16 months. In terms of health, Hunter's never really been sick yet. I think a part of that is just this time of social distancing we're living in right now. Hunter is not in the church nursery, for example, because our church does not have nursery right now. He is not going out as much as a kid his age would in normal times. So he just hasn't been exposed to, getting those germs. And obviously I'm not a doctor, but I think there are pros and cons to that. Pro, well, he has been getting sick. We haven't had to deal with that. Con, though, is, he's not being exposed to those germs, so what's that doing to his immune system? Is it going to develop normally? I don't know, but this is just the world we're living in right now, unfortunately. In terms of sleep, the bump article says 1 to 2 year olds need 11 to 14 hours of sleep total per day. Hunter gets probably 11 and a half, 12 hours at night. We start putting him down around 7 p.m. We have a good night routine where we bathe him and put on his pajamas and his sleep sack, and we say good night, and we dim the lights, and we lie in the bed with him for 10 or 15 minutes or so, just talking to him, and then we put him in his crib, and he's out by 7:30, and he typically wakes up around 7:30 a.m., so that's 11 and a half, 12 hours there, maybe an hour and a half to 2 hour nap a day, so he's right on target there. Also, at 16 months is when Hunter truly transitioned from 2 naps to 1 nap, so that was a definite change in our schedule, but it was, as the bump article says here, a pretty natural transition, and in fact, the bump graphic here of a 16-month-old sleep schedule is exactly what we're doing right now. The bump brings up sleep regression. Hunter doesn't really have that, I think because he is just so active during the day, running around inside, bouncing off the walls, outside, running around outside, pushing his cars around outside. He's just so tired when he sleeps, and for a long time now, since he was a little guy, he's been a really good sleeper through the night. Probably the hardest night we've had with Hunter since, before he was 1. I can't even remember, but was the night that we quit the Binky cold turkey with him. We did this when Hunter was 16 months old. He was 16 months and a week old. There were tears. If you've seen our video, Bye Bye Binky, you know what I'm talking about. You can watch that video to see how we did this, how we kind of said goodbye to the Binky. But that night, Hunter did have some tears going to sleep. He was fussy going to sleep. He did wake up in the middle of the night. Twice, I believe, we saw him on the monitor, but he was able to soothe himself to sleep within 5-10 minutes. So that was a big transition that we went through with Hunter at 16 months. His sleep was a little bit disrupted, but nothing major. The bump article also talks about food. It says your 16-month-old should be eating 3 meals and 2 snacks per day. Yes, he definitely does that. He eats so much. I think it's funny that this article says, remember, a serving of food for them is only about 1/4 the size of an adult portion. If that's the case, Hunter eats many servings per meal. He eats so much. Sometimes he eats as much as his mother does. The bump article brings up calcium. Hunter doesn't drink that much milk. This article says 3 8-ounce cups of whole milk per day. He might drink 1 cup of milk a day, but we do give him a lot of cheese, and he loves cheese. That's one of his words. He loves it. The article says if baby isn't already eating with a spoon and fork sometimes, encourage her to practice. This is a good reminder for us because I don't think we've been good about encouraging utensil use as much as we should. More often than not, we just put Hunter in his high chair, put his food on his tray, and just let him dig in with his hands and fingers. We do give him utensils sometimes, but I think we should probably be a little bit more intentional and consistent with that. The bump article says that the baby should be completely off the bottle. Yeah, we didn't really use the bottle very much, even when he was an infant. It was only, if I had to feed him when Caroline wasn't there to nurse him. Caroline was weaned from nursing at around 13 months, I believe, and that was pretty seamless. Basically, by that time, Caroline had just been nursing him before bed, and what we started doing at that point at 13 months was instead of both of us doing the bedtime routine, it would just be me doing the bedtime routine. And because Caroline wasn't there, he wouldn't look to be nursed. I think 1 or 2 nights he was kind of interested in my chest, but after a few weeks of that, he just didn't care anymore. So that's how we weaned him from nursing back at 13 months. Another thing this bump article says is some doctors warn that sippy cup use with milk or juice could lead to tooth decay and it could inhibit speech development in some children. I had never heard of that, so this was interesting to me. I get it, the tooth decay with sugary juice. We don't give Hunter juice. I wouldn't think milk would cause tooth decay. Isn't like milk and cheese and calcium stuff good for teeth? But, I know milk has, sugar in it, so maybe that's the reason. I'm not sure. With the speech development, I would imagine that's probably like if the kid is sipping on the sippy cup all day long. Again, I'm not sure what that's about, but I'm not a dentist. I'm not too concerned because it's not like Hunter, sipping on the sippy cup all day long. Speaking of dental hygiene, Hunter loves brushing his teeth right now. He loves making the little noise blah, 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 when he does it. Sometimes he just wants to play with toothbrushes and stick them in his mouth, even when it's not time to brush his teeth. We have to tell him, no, Hunter, toothbrush isn't a toy. You can't play with it. You can't run around with a toothbrush. That's dangerous. In terms of toothpaste we like using, Hunter really likes the Tom's of Maine Silly Strawberry toothpaste. The bump also talks about activities. It talks about blocks. I'm not sure Hunter really has blocks. He has these stackable cups, though, that he likes to build towers with. In terms of coloring, Hunter doesn't really have any coloring stuff either. We haven't really encouraged him to color very much other than like at restaurants where, they give kids the coloring sheet and the crayons. So I'm going to put that on our shopping list to get him some crayons and stuff. In terms of pretend objects, yeah, we don't really have pretend objects for him. He has his toys, but in terms of like things that are like adult things, he likes to play with the actual adult thing. He loves Swifting with our Swiffer that he pulls out of our pantry. He loves playing with our phones, probably because Caroline and R, probably to our shame, looking at ours more than we should be. Unusual objects he loves include our herbs and spices. He loves getting into our herbs and spices cabinet, untwisting them open, opening them up. Unfortunately, a couple times we had some incidents, some spills. I think one involved our cloves, the other on nutmeg. So now the herbs and spices are off limits, as they probably should have been in the first place. In terms of other activities, at 16 months, Hunter really started enjoying hide and seek. He loves and he grasped the finding aspect easily. He picked on that pretty quickly. I think it was just kind of extension of peekaboo. But the whole hiding aspect, he hasn't quite mastered yet. I'll sit there and count to 10. He'll just move like a few feet away from me from where I am and then expect that I can't see him. Thinking about it now, maybe I have enabled this because, when I stop counting, sometimes I'll pretend that I can't see Hunter even though he's right there. So maybe if I actually find him right there 2 feet away from me, immediately after I stop counting, he'll get the idea that, oh, he has to go hide somewhere else. All right, Hunter, I'm going to count to 10, okay? And I find you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ready or not, here I come. Where's Hunter? Where's Hunter? Where did he go? There he is. Why do you make such little effort to hide, my little friend? Hunter does love books right now. He'll sit and look at his books, especially books that have cars in them or other vehicles. He loves just staring at those books. He has this one book with a lot of vehicles in it. He'll just sit there, point to each vehicle, and want us to say the name of it. What else? The bump article talks about teething pain. Hunter with his most recent set of molars, which I think he cut when he was about 15, 16 months. He drooled a lot. We didn't really detect a lot of pain, really. It also says when changing your child's clothes, talk her through what's happening. That's smart. We haven't really been doing that. So I imagine that's just like, okay, now we're taking off your shirt. Okay, now we're putting on your shirt. That's smart. We should probably start incorporating that now because, wow, the bump article says soon she'll be able to start undressing herself. And after that, she'll learn to put on clothes all by herself. That would definitely be a treat. The bump article closes out by saying have a dance party. Now that your child is fully mobile, he'll want to try out some dance moves. Yes, Hunter definitely loves dancing, and he has loved dancing since he was a little guy. I think that's pretty common, right? I think instinctively babies like music and moving to the beat, whether that's kind of just their shoulders when they're a little guy or now kind of full on dancing like he does now. We did give Hunter his second haircut. I think it was a second haircut. Yeah, second haircut at 16 months. Caroline just sat him in his bumbo seat, went at it with some scissors. We let him watch TV while she was cutting his hair. We have that video on our channel if you've seen it. And that brings me to my next topic, screen time. So Hunter probably has 5 minutes, some days maybe 10 minutes of screen time per day, typically watching either car videos or the Pixar Cars shorts or family vlogs on either Caroline's phone or my phone. And we typically reserve this for when Hunter is, being defiant. Either he doesn't want to go in the car seat or he doesn't want to stay still for a diaper change or something like that. I don't know if that's smart really, because we're essentially rewarding him with something he likes for performing bad behavior. I'd love to know for any parents out there of toddlers around Hunter's age what your policy is regarding screen time. In general, we want to minimize it because we've heard that too much screen time is not good for language development, just all kinds of things like that. But we know that everyone parents different, and we just love to hear your opinion. But I think that maybe we are caving in with screen time a little bit more than we should. Another thing right now is Hunter just loves dogs, really animals in general, but especially dogs. I think the day after Hunter turned 16 months, we got to watch my brother-in-law's family dog for a few days. Hunter just had a blast with that little dog. I think this is pretty common too around this age, right? And really throughout childhood and even adulthood. Kids like dogs, adults like dogs, and Hunter's no different there. All right, everybody, thank you so much for watching this video on 16-month milestones. It was a lot of fun to make. I'm sure I'm missing a lot of milestones here. I don't think the bump article is necessarily comprehensive or anything like that. I'm not a medical professional. Also, I'm sure I've forgotten a lot of things that Hunter is doing at this age. But of course, if you want to see what he's up to, you can check out our vlog right here on the Alec Family channel. Be sure to subscribe. We post a video every single day. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you over there in the daily vlogs. Bye-bye.